Good morning everyone. Hopefully you can hear all of this. I sorted out the issues with the camera and it's now recording audio. I installed some new firmware onto the camera and hopefully that solved the problem. Anyway, if you can't, well, I'll have to make up something afterwards when I get home. So it's Monday, the 10th of March 2025. It's coming up on about 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm on my morning run, obviously. I'm about 5k's in. I didn't film before this because, as you can see, not quite sunrise yet, and so I wouldn't be able to see anything. I'm over at Churchill Park, which is a sporting complex on the eastern side of the city of Launceston in Tasmania, slightly north of the CBD. I suppose technically it's northeastern suburbs. It's a big sporting complex with other football fields, round ball football that is. There's a baseball diamond, BMX tracks and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'm going to, let's talk about running. And I'm prompted to do that after having watched the last video from Ben and Mary Bridges. That's the people who run away, the people who run the Messy Happy channel, the YouTube channel. Now, for context, they're originally from England and they now live in Thailand. He's in his mid-40s and she's about the same age, I assume. They do a lot of running. If they're not doing runs just like this as training, then they're entering running events, races I suppose you should call them. They are doing gym sessions for strength and conditioning, or they're on the treadmill. They're learning all about diet and nutrition, and all of their videos are full of helpful hints to make you a better runner. He holds a number of qualifications as a sports coach, triathlon coach, football coach, running coach, and I'm only telling you all of that to give you some context for what comes next. So his most recent video, which came out yesterday, was something like 9 things that all runners should know in 2025 or something like that. Now I'm not going to go through the 9 things, mainly because I can't remember them. I didn't write them down and I can't remember them, and I'm not in a position to tell you those things or give you advice like that. They are people who run a lot, and I'm not having a go at them, I'm just giving you this all the background and context. They run a lot. They run marathons, he runs ultra marathons, and they enter lots of running events. And so they always are looking for the edge, always looking to improve, to be better runners, and so forth. And I guess that's one end of the spectrum of running, and the other end is people who just run and just enjoy it. And I guess I'm somewhere in the middle, so I'm going to tell you about what I do, and that's not necessarily to say you should do it, it's just to say this is what I do. So for context, I'm a 71-year-old white male, soon to be 72. I live in Goulburn in New South Wales in Australia. I'm currently on an extended holiday in Launceston in Tasmania. First question, I suppose the first thing I can tell you about my running is that I do it because I enjoy it and because I can. I guess I'm lucky at my age that I have no health issues that would prevent me from doing it, no heart issues, no joint issues, and none of those sort of things the doctor might say to me, you've got to stop. They might look at me and say, you run too much, you don't need to do that much at your age or whatever. Again, I usually run about 50 k's a week, and I don't say that to boast, I just want you to have some background to what I'm telling you. So I'm lucky to have mobility and no health problems, and so I do it because I can, and I do it because I enjoy it. You think, well, what do you enjoy about it? Well, I enjoy being outside doing this. On a coolish day, it's not cool today, but on a coolish day, I quite like the cool breeze coming over me as I'm running. I like being outside. I like the different sounds you get when you're running. So if you're running on a made track that's blacktop or concrete, there's obviously going to be a different sound than if you're running on a dirt track like this one with lots of loose gravel. I like the idea of setting out to do something and achieving it. So I say to myself, well, I'm going to go and run this course today, and mainly it's that particular course or the distance. I usually know approximately how far it is, and I've mapped the course out in my head the night before. I know where the hills and the turns and possible traffic lights and so on are, and so I enjoy doing that and setting myself the challenge of doing it and completing it. And of course, yes, I have a smartwatch and I look at the data afterwards and I think, well, I should have run that lap faster, or time was a bit slow today, but mainly I just enjoy being out and testing myself and my body against my mind. Is my mind going to give up first? My leg's going to give out? Or am I going to get around my course and say, you didn't think you could do that, but you did it, or something like that. Now, I run on my own most of the time. Not because I'm antisocial, but because I just enjoy that. I don't want to be in the position of someone else depending on me to turn up, or me being in the position of waiting for a running partner to turn up, and then if they don't come for whatever reason, I don't get out of bed and don't go, or something like that. I just think, well, I'm going to go running. After that initial having to give yourself a good talking to and say, get out of bed and get your gear on and go, especially on a day like today. It's quite warm overnight, it's quite mild now. No excuses for saying it's cold or anything like that. You just put on your stuff and get out and do it. So, as I said, I mostly run by myself, but I do go to the weekly park run, and I enjoy the company of the people that are there. I don't know any of them all that well. They're not, close personal buddies. They're just people that I see there every week, and we pass a few words to each other, or talk about today's run or last week's run, or we might have seen each other somewhere during the week, and then we get on with it. And when I'm doing the park run, I enjoy trying to pit myself against myself. That is to say, can I do better than last week, or at least as good? I've said many a time I have some goals with my park running, which is to run the whole thing, which even now, after I've been running since about 2018, can sometimes be a bit of a struggle, simply because you are running at race pace, if you like, instead of a little slower like I am at the moment. I run the whole thing, finish it in under 30 minutes, which I usually do, and try and finish in the top half of the field, again, which I usually do. And again, I'm not saying anything of that to boast, I'm just saying that so you have, again, some context around which I'm thinking and around which I'm doing what I do. Now, running can be very expensive, or it can be the cheapest sport you'll ever know of. It can be the cheapest sport you ever know, because basically there are no membership fees, no club fees, no insurance, none of those things you've got to have with team sports. And for guys in particular, you just get on a pair of shorts and a singlet and some shoes, and away you go. And I realise, women, you're probably going to be a bit more fashion conscious, and even so, without too much expense, you can just get out and go running. Now, I said it could be expensive because you can buy yourself a really expensive smartwatch. I have one. I have to say I didn't buy it, I was given it as a gift. You can buy really expensive shoes. You should buy good shoes that are comfortable. But you can buy really expensive shoes, and you can buy really expensive clothing. And as I've talked about before, the really expensive carbon fibre, carbon plate magic shoes, as I call them, they make a little bit of difference, but for most runners they probably don't make any difference, and whatever effect they have is probably a placebo effect rather than an actual effect. So you just get out, find a path or a track or a course to run on, and away you go. Now, safety is an issue for some, particularly women, when you're running. And I have made a video about that, so I don't want to revisit all those points. But wear bright clothing, run in a group, tell somebody where you're going, maybe even share your location with someone else on a phone so they know where you are. And go places that you know well and are well lit. Might be some of the tips for you. Now, I mentioned Ben and Mary, and they're talking about nutrition and all those sort of things to get the edge. I don't know anything about nutrition, so I'm not going to advise you about it. They say you can't outrun a bad diet, and if you're running to help with weight control, it'll help and you will see the effect, but it takes a long time. You don't see the pounds, kilos should I say, dropping off magically. You have to just keep running. The gym might not even notice them for a while. Other people might notice them and see you looking a bit slimmer or something. And you might not notice them until you put on something you haven't worn for a while and find it's much looser than it was. But as far as diet goes, if you're using running to manage your weight, then you've got to manage your diet as well. You've got to eat differently. Now, as I said, I'm not a nutritionist or dietitian or anything, so I'm not going to tell you about what you should or shouldn't eat. I'm just going to say you've got to eat perhaps a bit differently than what you might be doing at the moment. All right, I'm going to turn around and go back now. We're 7.85 kilometres in. Pardon my clearing my throat. A final thought about running before I end this video then is that you've got to think about hydration. Simply that means how much water you drink. I've had a couple of interactions with the health system recently for minor ailments, and I've had blood samples taken, and they tell me all of my mineral levels and such like are where they should be, and I don't need to take a vitamin supplement, and they don't need to drink any magic water. But you're going to sweat when you run, so you're going to be thirsty, but your body's also going to get dehydrated. So you've got to think about how much water you drink, and that's not going to help if you're carrying a water bottle and slurping while you're running. It's extra weight that you're carrying, well, not much, but it's extra weight, and it's water sloshing around in your belly. The thing to do is to drink the day before. So for today, I needed to drink a lot of water yesterday. Now I knew I was going to go running this morning, so I did drink plenty of water, and I don't mean to sit down and say drink 8 or 10 glasses at a pop. Just throughout the day, make sure you're drinking water, and that's especially the case on a day like yesterday when it was about 30 degrees down here, which is unseasonably warm for Launceston. All right, well, hopefully the audio's worked and you've heard my commentary, because making it afterwards won't be anywhere as near as interesting. If you haven't enjoyed the commentary, then perhaps you've enjoyed some scenery. If you have a comment, you can add it in the appropriate place, and I'm happy to respond when I become aware of it. Remember, comment on the content and the things I've said. And as I said, I'm not an expert on any of these things. I'm just telling you what I do. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, of course you're welcome to do that. I'm not touting for subscribers because I don't make any money out of it. I don't want to make money out of it. And if you want to share the video with your friends, please do that as well. Have a nice day. It's a public holiday in Tasmania today, so lots of people have a day off work. You're in Australia somewhere, and it's a public holiday in your state. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you when I'm making the next running video, whenever that will be.